It's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
It was a sad day in my house. My daughter, a big Baltimore Ravens fan. And the big Baltimore Ravens fan I know sitting across from us right now, head coach of the Siena Saints, Jimmy Patsos. Coach, I'm sorry about your Ravens.
Since we'll start of the NFL, you know, we had a tough loss at Marist. We had a chance to win last night. We had a layup to win, and just think they made a good play and blocked it. Combined with my 4th and 15 to make the playoffs. I am happy for the Bills fans because I know there's a lot of. I live downtown. The McGeary's has this crazy Bills contingency.
Nuts.
No, like they're really impressive.
Yeah.
They all park around my condo and all that, so it's pretty impressive. No, I wave to them. I come out of church. I see them. They always say, "You coming over?" I said, "Not today," because it was the Ravens. And unbelievable. We've had some tough losses like that. The Ravens had where they, you know, you look at the Steelers game. In that game, we could be 11-5, but that's a little like our team. You got to close games. You know, we've had a lot of close games this year. We've had a lot of close situations that we had to either make a free throw, get a stop, get an extra rebound, and we haven't done it, so I can't really say much about my Ravens, but I was dying to make the playoffs because I thought Kansas City was vulnerable, and then I wanted to see what we could do, you know, but happy for the Bills fans.
Jimmy Patsos with us. All right, let's...
And Pete Durr, my Dobo's here, who's just a Niners fan. He's on cloud nine. He's buying his Super Bowl tickets.
Jimmy G, undefeated.
He's
Never
all
lost.
happy over here. Go ahead, Mr. Utica Pete. I mean, of course you like the Niners. You're from Utica.
It's better than Brady, right? That should have kept him instead of Brady.
He
traded
just
him
gave
up.
me that whole theory.
Yeah? Okay.
Well, that was the rumor for a long time.
See, I'd missed all that.
That Belichick wanted to move Brady and move forward with Garoppolo, and Kraft decided to cut around him and move Garoppolo, so there was no choice to be made.
Should we call Coach Parcells? We know about shopping for the groceries.
Yeah.
If I'm going to make the meal.
It depends how Coach doesn't always answer the phone in the most friendly way. Probably more friendly to you than he would be to us.
Not this time of year. So what do you want? Your team needs to play better defense down the stretch.
Coach,
you know, we got to get a few stops down the stretch. He's right, but they couldn't get the stops. But I'll tell you what, the Bills, that was impressive to go down to Miami and win. I mean, they did it. So who wins? Let's get some Super Bowl right now. Vikings. Do the Vikings stay home and do it?
I want the Vikings to do it so bad. I wouldn't mind seeing Jacksonville, Minnesota. I just think that would be a fun Super Bowl for me. I know a lot of fans would be like,
how about the Giants fans if Coughlin's up there hoisting the trophy?
Yeah, that's got to be mixed emotions to the 10th degree. Oh, look at Woodsy in there pumping his fist. He'd be all about it. He's a big Giants fan.
I had Patriots, one of your guys, Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton might be able to make a run here with the Panthers. They get the right draw. They get the Saints, the team they know in their division. Then they get the Eagles.
That whole NFC is up for grabs because the Eagles are still good, but they got no quarterback. Cam Newton, he's Under Armour guy. I hope so. Yeah, Under Armour would like Brady versus Cam Newton. But no Steelers, huh? You don't think?
I'm not a Roethlisberger guy. I think he's soft.
Jeez, I think he's tough, but what do I know?
I think he's. You know why you think he's tough? Because he's always telling you how tough he is.
That's a good point.
Oh, I got my air cast on. But I'll play, guys. Oh, I'll play. He's like God. He falls in the shower.
Oh, hang on.
I heard about that. I was a little nervous about we were listening coming in.
I got to see Ian Farrell. That's who I got to see. Work me back into shape if I'm falling in my shower out of bed. Ugh, it's not good.
Ian and his Air Cuomo is coming straight from the Coxsackie jail to Siena. That's hilarious.
104.5.
He's our strength coach. He does a great job. He did. He worked there. He volunteered there on weekends. That's good. I said, I don't know. These guys need to get in shape.
Right.
So Ian Farrell's done a good job. Our young guys, Evan Fisher's in great shape. Roman Penn is just taking a beating, but he's playing like 38 minutes. Khalil's coming around. And Prince Aduro, was in there when I left shooting 100 free throws. Those are the four guys that have been our most consistent. And, you know, you look at it, your strength coach, your trainer, all those things come into play this time of year. And I know in the NFL there's no one more important. Although back to the Patriots, they kicked out the strength guy, right?
Well, no, that's not there. That was Brady's strengths guy.
Right.
So he was butting heads with the real trainers. So that was when it was like, all right, finally, get out. We're done with you. Or you can go with my theory. They were cheating. So, had to get rid of them.
The Patriots fans calling us up again here very soon.
The Cheatriot fans?
No, they took a year off from that.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you can't have a year without a Patriot.
The year they beat the Ravens, that's when the balls were really deflated because the running backs were throwing touchdowns. But that's a whole other story.
Nobody fumbled ever because the ball was so squishy and soft.
Right?
All right, so you guys are in conference play now, Coach. You have a game on Friday.
Got to come Friday. Got to come. We need the fans. We're playing Niagara. They have the top two scorers in the league. Dukes, who's a transfer from USC, and Scott, lefty. They're two seniors. They're 1 and 2 punches good. The rest of them we have to match up with, but we got to continue. You're not going to stop them. They're the 1 and 2 leading scorers. Scott's the leading rebounder as well. He's like a 6'5" guy that is willing to do the dirty work. Niagara was picked really high in our league. They're coming off a bad loss to Ryder. I know they're going to come in angry, and it's about who wants to win games right now. A lot of loose balls, a lot of making some small plays, listening to the game plan, the coaches. But in the MAC, the ball goes up in the air, and you got to get it. You got to hold the teams to 1 shot. You got to try to get 2 shots. We kind of got out-muscled a little bit at Marist, but we were down 2 with 2 minutes to go and had the ball. I mean, then back-and-forth game with Quinnipiac. We didn't get two rebounds we didn't get led to 2 wide-open threes. So we're working on it. But we're playing to win, and our young guys are getting better, and they're growing together, and they're really moving along, and there's no quitting us. We're all the St. Bernard's ready to fight. We know we're going to have a dogfight on Friday night. And Canisius, we play, I think, at 3 o'clock on Sunday. So it's a great 2 days to come out. I mean, look, you don't have much to do around here in terms of games to go to at this time of year. I'd come out. Belleville deserves credit. The Times Union Center out front, the whole new thing looks great. It's all beautiful, and come down and see us play because our young kids are really battling. And Evan Fisher he's coming on tomorrow to Roger's show. I have to do another show, but Roger is going to have Evan Fisher, who's also a big Ravens fan, and Greg Manning, who's a Falcons fan. So he's got his. Did they make it?
Yeah, they made it.
They made it, right?
They're
Seattle. They made it, and Seattle didn't, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So he's got his thing. They're going to come out with Roger tomorrow, but we're not fine. We're not happy. We're not content, but we want to get better.
That's good, Coach. I mean, how far are you from where you need to be? Like how?
I don't know. It's funny. I never lie to you guys. We had a thing today where we had 5 poor outings. We just didn't show. Florida Gulf Coast was too good. Bucknell was a tough road trip. Blah blah blah. Take those 5 games out, okay? Because we have 15 games. There's 10 games left. We're 4-6, but we could easily be 8-2. In other words, 2 overtimes. Had the ball, had 2-point lead against Albany. They ran a great play. They throw it inside. We don't front the post. We missed 2 free throws. Marist right there. I mean, we're tied at halftime. Forget about that. There's 2 minutes left in the game, and we're down 2 with the ball. Last night we have the lead with a couple minutes to go. In other words, you got to, as a young team, you got to keep grinding. You got to keep working on those situations. But if we were losing every game by 20, I'd say, hey, I'm out recruiting. None of you guys are coming back, and we're going to have a whole new team next year. But Roman Penn's really doing it at the point. Prince is just beginning to scratch the surface. If we were an NBA team, they would say, the general manager of an NBA team would tell me to throw Prince Aduro the ball every time.
Okay.
We're building for next year. He's our Porzingis. He's our guy. In other words, Dennis Smith in Dallas or whatever. Like, that's who would get the ball every time. But Prince doesn't want to do that. He wants to win, but in other words, he's a real talent, and he's only getting better every game, and he's getting more comfortable. Today he was working on his free throw. We all know that. But he's like a real talent. Right. Evan Fisher's really starting to emerge as a leader. We need someone else to step up. Khalil's scoring the ball, Shivers and Clarith have had a lot of chances to win games, and quite frankly, the results haven't been there, so I have to look at who gives us the best chance of winning. Christian Bentley's our best defender in practice, a freshman. I may have to start playing him more. Sammy Friday, a lot of people wonder what's going on with Sammy, so I might as well answer the question. He is trying hard, and he is producing in practice. But, Pete, it hasn't translated to the games. Is that fair?
Nope.
So, he's played one really good game against Louisville, but we're not giving up. We're going to put him in the backup row. Can Herder fight back and play the 3-4 that I want him to play? Sure, but you got to do it in practice. So we're close. Everything's fine, but we have to keep staying close and then get over the hump. We can't take a step backwards.
Is that a situation, Coach Patsos with us right now, 104.5 team? Is that a situation where you just you mentioned there's the overtime losses, the free throws don't fall. Is it a luck thing? Is it you just need one thing to go right, or is it
the harder you work, the luckier you get? So yeah. I think a couple guys sometimes try to do it on their own. Smitten's been really good for us energy-wise, but he took a tough shot last night, but he thought he was going to make it. I don't mind that because he's playing defense and he's rebounding, but can he play 30 minutes a game and get you the MAC title? I'm not sure. He's a really good fill-in guy. But is it luck that you got to make shots. You got to convert. You can't have a turnover when you're down 1. When you have 3 guys around the ball and they have 1, you have to find a way to get that rebound.
Right.
We have to front the post against Albany when Coach Brown came out, ran a really good play, posted up Prince. We've talked about fronting the post. They're young. They come out and they give you answers like, I know, I forgot, or whatever. I said, all our answers are now we and us. We need to do better. Or as a group, we got to get that rebound. Not my bad. I'm not a big my bad guy. I know that's what they say in 2017, but it's about what we have to get things done and we have to get over the hump. But we're close and we're playing to win and we're battling.
With some of these guys maybe having new roles, whether it's the end of the game, finding new minutes, how difficult is it for you when practice time's getting shrinked now? Because you're in conference play. You may only get a day for travel and a day of practice here. That's not easy to find out.
No, it's a good question. Up. You know, well, we've been lucky because we're off right now. Normally my teams have gotten better over the break because, you know, we stay in a hotel for 10 days because campus closes completely. And we have pretty good attention span. Go 2 a day, stuff like that. Watch more video. But you got to do it at the end of the game. And we don't have that much experience. You know, Marquise Wright had the ball in his hands for 4 years the whole time, especially at the end. Brett was just a killer on the boards. Levon knew how to play. Javion could just get you a bucket down low. But the thing nobody knows about Javion is he made a good defensive play. And I don't just mean blocking shots. Javion would switch on to a guy. Javion would make sure their best player hit yell at Levon. Hey, Levon, don't let number 2 get it. He's their best player with 30 seconds left. They'd run the play the wrong way because Javion was really high basketball IQ. They're all gone. So someone else has to step up. And, you know, I got to do a better job coaching. But very good question. We're working more in situations. And sometimes I see guys in working on the game. I saw a thing from Calipari. They just beat Georgia barely. The games are not time to work on your individual skills. This time of year should be, what can I do to help us win? How can we get better? And sometimes you got to, you know, remind the players of that to certain guys because they're just too worried about their own situation instead of what's best for the team.
And that's wow. You want to hang out for a minute?
I'll stay for as long as you want.
All right. Let's get into how do you do that, and where is the ceiling of this team? If you had to say it right now, that's Coach Jimmy Patsos coming up next.
It's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
Joined by Siena men's basketball coach Jimmy Patsos. Coach, first things first, we spoke a little bit about the Times Union Center and
great
and all that, and just another cool thing that you and the TU and Hannaford are doing is Hannaford helps fight hunger. We're going to be broadcasting live before your game on Friday. All fans who bring 3 non-perishable food items to the game Friday night get 2 free tickets to a future Siena men's regular season game, and Hannaford will donate all the food to the regional food bank. So you can enjoy some hoops, do a good deed. And it also happens to be craft beer night.
There you go. Craft beer is big now. My assistant, Jordan Watson, he was all excited when we went to visit. Where did we go to, Vermont? Hetty Topper or something like that?
Oh, yeah. They don't make much of it.
No, we went by it. He almost had a heart attack. I thought it's like me. It was like, that's how excited I was at Churchill Downs. And he's like, no, there it is, Hetty Topper. Yeah. And I'm like, what's that? That was a skateboard company.
And my first one over Christmas break. And the relative, the soon-to-be in-law, was going nuts about Hetty Topper. You'd think it's like Justin Bieber with drinks or something.
It's unbelievable. Craft beer's taking us. So come down Friday. John D'Argenio, Mike Demos do a good job with that stuff. But come on down.
Yeah, $20 gets you a ticket to the game, which includes admission to the craft beer garden.
No, very good. And then there's a couple Siena guys that have a brewery too. But I went out to Omegaden because they have concerts out there. Yeah. So anyways, it's a big game for us. They have 2 really good scorers. And we got to get a win, but we just got to keep fighting. I heard you say about the ceiling. There is no ceiling, you know. Okay. In other words, I said to everybody, the league's wide open. Most people just mean like, oh, that means we're going to win it. No, I said the league's wide open. Maris hit 6 threes in a row. You know, this guy Funk hit like 4 of them, and after 2, I thought we would. That's what I'm saying. An old team would just say he's made 2. We're not going to let him score another one. Right. Instead, sometimes a young team's like, I'm not sure who had him, or I thought he might miss. I'm like, you thought he might miss? He just made 2. In other words, Maris can shoot the ball. Quinnipiac's doing a really good job. Baker Dunleavy, they've got it out some wins. They beat Monmouth. I haven't seen Iona yet in person. Ryder went up to and just beat Niagara. The league's wide open. That's good and bad. But we're just part of that group. We have to get better. We have to make winning plays down the last 4 minutes, and that doesn't mean shots. The winning pass, the winning defensive assignment, not turning it over, the winning free throw. And we are trying to practice that more. We're simulating more in practice. But you got to eventually do it in the games.
Coach Patsos with us right now. All right, so the commercials are going on. We're talking a little college football.
Yes.
UCF wins, and Frost is coaching his team and recruiting and doing all that. And Goz asked a question that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, college basketball wise, you see someone like in the postseason with a team, but going somewhere else. Have you ever had an experience like that in your career?
Sure, including coming here. We were in the CBI, and we beat Kent State, Boston U, and I was down in East Carolina, and I'm trying to get my stuff in here. Because there's 3 or 4 of us going for the job, and I'm like, John D'Argenio, can you wait, do a phone interview, but you got to get up there. More importantly, when I was at Maryland first starting out, not first starting out, but we start going to Sweet 16s. That's week 2 of the tournament. Now we go to 2 Final Fours in a row. My friends are getting jobs that are, Gary Williams wasn't exactly like, oh, yeah, don't worry about the scout. Go ahead and interview. What are you, crazy? He's like, are you out of your mind? You better know every out-of-bounds play that, Kansas is running in the Final Four, or Duke, who we played in the Final Four, and you got to know what you're doing there. I would say Coach Williams, what he would say is, you got 3 guys, and you're going to float around and interview kind of halfway. Which one wants you, more importantly, and which one do you like? Maybe I'll give you a little, hour break if they want to fly in here, et cetera. In other words, you're not leaving the team, though, to go out to, interview at El Paso, at UTEP. He's like, what are you creating? No. Because this is your job, and we're trying to make a run that we've never made. This wasn't like we would Duke, where we had our reservations booked before the year began for the Final Four. So, and I was a big scouter. In other words, me and Dave Dickerson did the scouts. When I was with Billy Hahn, I was also sort of I was the recruiter, but I also was tight with the players. I kind of had the little thing where I kind of handled academics, et cetera. In other words, he's like, I need you for the players here. Recruiting's kind of over during the NCAA, but scouting's really important. And I kind of did the stuff on the road. We were in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 and things like that. Shocker. I was like the dude that found stuff to do in the middle of the day with him. He had practice. I was there at practice. But besides scouting, like if we're in California, whether it was a Disneyland trip or let's go to the beach for an hour, he just wanted my attention. I was very good with the players off the court, getting them to buy into what we were trying to do on the court. Because he was sometimes a little, let's just say, he knew how to get his point across, and sometimes the players didn't like that. So I would explain that he's really got your best interest in here.
So you were mom. He was dad, you were mom.
There you go. That's very good. Yeah. That's a good thing. So he wasn't big on run out to recruit, run out to, interview at, Cal Irvine, or just because you want to see what it looks like. Now, when Loyola came, when I got the Loyola job, we were in the elite. No, we went to the round of 32. We beat UTEP. Actually, it's funny you said that. Billy Gillespie at UTEP prior to his pool party experience. And then there was Boeheim at Syracuse. We lose to Syracuse, so I get the Loyola job. Had we beaten Syracuse, I'm not sure I get the Loyola job. Is that funny? Is that how it works enough?
Right.
So I really admire. Now, they have a much longer gap, football, but I admire Nick Saban for saying, hey, you guys go take the jobs, or the guy at Central Florida still coaching, going 13-0.
Took his whole coaching staff with him.
He's in Gainesville either. He's got to go to Nebraska and all that. And their recruiting time is going right now, right?
Right. Yep.
So, anyways, it's a different sport. They have a month off, but that was not really big on the list of what we were going to do.
How many jobs? And if you want to say the name of one, do you look back at it and went, if I just had a little extra time, or if it was a situation like this?
I don't really want to name names, but there was a couple of jobs that I didn't have to take the 1-27 Loyola job, but that was close to Baltimore. And I loved the MAC. I wanted to coach in a basketball league, not like I had interviewed in an Ivy League school. I had interviewed a school down south, probably somewhere in the Charleston vicinity. So things like that, and then you look around and you look back and say, plus I wasn't a big agent guy. I had an agent, but Gary Williams can get guy. Rick Barnes worked for him. Fran Fraschillo worked for him. Fran Dunphy worked for him. But he wasn't like Patino and Billy Donovan and Izzo. They work hard to get guys jobs. Gary's kind of he's really good. If you're really interested, give me a call back. But he wasn't going to call 70 people around the job. You got to call a lot of people around the job. President, trustees, deans. Of course, the athletic director is the most important one. But you can call boosters. You can call famous alumni. You can call this. Gary was kind of just right to the AD. He'd be really good. If you're interested, call me back. Other coaches would work really, really hard. And that's why Saban getting all these guys jobs, to me, is impressive.
Right. Well, and winning and not losing the product on the field on top of that.
So does he beat Georgia? I like Georgia in that game.
Man, I like Georgia. I love the way they played, but there was just the way Bama just handled Clemson. It's hard to see
wasn't
them.
as good as they were last year.
No, that's definitely true too, Coach.
Out of the powerful ACC.
That's true too, but man, that just
They lost to Syracuse, by the way.
I think Syracuse should play for the national championship.
That was a big game, Danny.
In what?
I'll tell you
sport?
what,
Field
I thought Oklahoma was pretty good. I watched that game. I did not watch the second game. I started watching our tape. I had to take 3 hours.
There was no game. It was a second game.
So I watched some of the Alabama game, but I was impressed with the Tennessee. You know, they were talking about the defensive coordinator, but I watched that Georgia game was a good game. Oklahoma's real. They're good. I mean, that's a real team, and that was cool. Stoops was over there.
Yeah. I mean, it was the whole day was fun to watch. A lot of great games, but man, Bama just they look strong. They look real strong. They look like they're playing a man's game. Everybody else is a bunch of boys.
Look, he's been doing that. That's his whole thing. That's why his guys do so well in the NFL. But go Dogs. G.G. Smith, my old assistant, he went to Georgia. I visited Athens. It's pretty cool. Me and Greg Manning, we ran on. I ran through the hedges. I did the 100-yard sprint. We were on the field. It was like Athens is nice. It'd be nice to see someone kind of new keep winning it because Alabama's so good. But we need everyone to come out Friday night.
Yes.
The team's getting better. I know it's not perfect, but we're like a combined 12 points away from having a really good season. But that's part of a young team's frustration. But they're trying hard. The youth movement's going to continue, and we're just going to have to learn to close out games. We have a lot of games to play. Evan Fisher said it best. We have 16 more games, and then the tournament. Let's keep trying to climb the mountain. Keep trying to climb the mountain. So, and we got a good bunch of kids. So, I'm really interested to see, what we do Friday and Sunday. But Friday, come out because you got the craft beer and you got the Hannaford food. You guys are the best.
Hey, thanks for the pizza, Coach. You're
Come
the
on,
man.
I was
Appreciate
bringing the pizza. Stop by. I saw it. I knew the room was safe. That there was no diet, New Year's diets in this room.
I'm on a diet. Free food makes my diet every time. Coach Patsos, I can't even talk. He just got me with the food. He nailed me. All right, we love Patsos. We'll be there Friday, broadcasting live. We'll tell you a little bit more about the food drive and everything else coming up next.